All right, let's talk. Are you a business owner who just feels stuck? I mean, you're putting in the hours, you're working harder than ever, but your growth is all over the place, and your income? It's like a roller coaster, right? High one month, terrifyingly low the next. You know there has to be a way to get out of that chaos and into control. Well, you're right. There is a system, and we're going to break it down for you right now. Okay, so first things first, let's get real about what it's actually like for most entrepreneurs out there. Because if you feel like you're just treading water, just getting by, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. In fact, you're in the majority.
Take a look at this. We call this the entrepreneur's pyramid. And, it tells a pretty brutally honest story. You see that tiny slice at the top? That's the 1% who are truly wealthy. But look at the bottom. That huge chunk, a staggering 80% of business owners are either just getting by or are flat out struggling. Now, I'm not showing you this to be a downer, not at all. It's to show you that feeling stuck is, well, it's normal. It's the default. The real question is, how do you break out of that 80%?
Does this feel familiar? I mean, really familiar? We call it the revenue roller coaster. One month, you're on top of the world, cash is flowing in, you feel incredible. And the next, whoosh, that stomach-churning dip where you're wondering how you're going to make payroll. Those dips, that's the painful gap. That's all the money, all the potential you're leaving on the table. And it's the #1 symptom of not having a predictable, consistent system for bringing in customers.
So what's the difference? What separates that struggling 80% from the successful few at the top? It really boils down to one thing: mindset. On one side, you've got the wannabe. They're constantly reacting, putting out fires, stuck in the day-to-day weeds. They're on a hamster wheel, confusing being busy with being productive. But the professional, they're totally different. They think, they plan. They work on their business, not just in it. And the biggest difference? They have a system.
So the big question is, how do you make that leap? How do you go from wannabe to professional? It all starts with a huge mental shift. Seriously, this is step one. You have to stop thinking like an employee in your own company and start thinking like an investor.
This quote from Dan Sullivan just nails it. The skills that got you out of Egypt aren't the ones that get you to the promised land. Think about that for a second. The hustle, the grit, the technical skill that you use to get your business off the ground, that was you getting out of Egypt. But those aren't the skills that will get you to the next level, to that promised land of real scalable growth. For that, you need a totally new playbook.
And that new playbook, that new way of thinking, it's the investor mindset. I want you to imagine you had an investor who put $1 million into your company. Would they care that you answered 100 emails today? No. They care about one thing and one thing only: return on investment, ROI. And that's how you have to start thinking. It means stepping back, looking at the big picture, and asking of everything you do, is this driving real growth and profit? Not just, is this making me busy? Okay, so you've got the mindset. You're thinking like an investor. Now what? Where do we start? Well, before you can build some big, powerful marketing engine, you've got to lay the foundation. You wouldn't build a house on shaky ground, right? These are the non-negotiables, the quick wins that are going to stabilize your whole business. And I love this analogy. Think of these foundations as the underwear and socks of your business. I mean, you wouldn't leave the house without them, would you? Of course not. They are that essential. A professional business person simply does not skip this step, period. So what are we talking about here? What are these non-negotiables? Well, here are 3 critical blocks that can deliver huge results fast. First, optimizing your Google business profile. This is basically a free ticket to getting high-quality local leads. Second, systemizing how you collect reviews. Because that social proof, it's gold. It builds instant trust. And number 3, something so many people overlook: conducting a simple but oh so powerful price review. And listen, don't you dare underestimate that last one about price. We worked with a guy who had over 2,000 monthly subscribers. 2,000! But he hadn't raised his prices in 7 years. He was afraid to. With just one simple letter, we helped him announce a really modest $6 price increase. $6. You know what that did? It added $144,000 to his annual revenue. Just like that. That's the power of getting your foundations right. All right, foundation is solid. Underwear and socks are on. Now you're ready to build the engine. This is the heart of the whole system. This is what's going to drive that consistent, predictable, rhythmic flow of new customers.
And where does this engine start? It starts with one simple but profound question. Who is your dream buyer? I'm not talking about just any customer. I'm talking about the perfect one. You know the one. They love what you do. They never, ever haggle on price. And honestly, they're just a joy to work with. The moment you get crystal clear on exactly who that person is, all of your marketing suddenly becomes 10 times more powerful.
Let me give you a perfect real-world example. We had a client who owned a car service center. He used to send out these super generic flyers that just said car servicing and MOT, trying to be everything to everyone. So we had him switch it up. We had him create a flyer that said expert BMW servicing and MOT, and then he only delivered them to houses that had a BMW in the driveway. The result? His phone calls quadrupled, with the exact same amount of effort. That is the power of niching down.
Okay, next up is your offer. So another client of ours ran a cleaning company, and he was really struggling to explain why he was better than anyone else. So we asked him a simple question. What would the absolute best cleaning service in the world look like for your ideal customer? And he just said, well, we never miss a clean. We have a whole system for it. Wait a minute. He already had this incredible, powerful guarantee. He just wasn't telling anybody. So all we did was help him put words to it, and boom, he had an irresistible offer, just by talking about what he already did so well.
Okay, so let's recap. You've got the investor mindset, you've built a solid foundation, you've started to build your marketing engine. There is one final piece to this puzzle, the piece that brings it all together and gives you that ultimate control we've been talking about. And that is, you have to know the score.
And this is it. This is your command center. It's a super simple one-page weekly scoreboard. That's all. And it just tracks the numbers that actually matter. How many leads came from Facebook? How many from LinkedIn? From referrals? Okay, of those leads, how many booked a meeting? And of those meetings, how many became a new client? This one simple page gives you game-changing clarity. You can see, at a glance, what's working, and, maybe more importantly, what isn't.
It's like the great Warren Buffett says, if you can't read the scoreboard, you don't know the score. And if you don't know the score, you can't tell the winners from the losers. And it's so true in business. Without this data, you're just guessing. You're flying blind. This little scoreboard, this is what finally allows you to stop guessing and start making smart, strategic decisions. It's how you start winning, not just by accident, but consistently.
So there you have it. That's the system. It's a proven path to get you off that chaotic revenue roller coaster and into the driver's seat with predictable, rhythmic growth. It's the shift from being that wannabe, reacting to everything, to becoming a true professional business person who is in control. The system lays out the path for you, plain and simple. The only question left is, are you going to walk it?